In this module, we'll take a look at some linguistic features of Pidgins and Creoles. These features include lexis, phonology, and grammar. Let's start with lexis. The source of lexis for most, in fact all Pidgins and Creoles, is the superstrate, that is the dominant language. The dominant language is the language contact with which has resulted in the emergence of that particular pidgin. So the superstrate or the dominant language is the source of the lexis of a pidgin. It is usually, the dominant language is usually a European language. For example, French, Spanish, English, Portuguese or Dutch. The dominant language which gives its vocabulary to the pidgin or the lexified language is called the lexifier. So lexifier is the language which gives its vocabulary to the pidgin. Lexis of any pidgin or creole is, like any other language, is systematic and uses certain rules and principles for its use. These rules move from simple to complicated. As a pidgin goes through different stages of evaluation, the rules of the use of lexis of a pidgin also become more complicated. Some of the rules for the use of lexis in pidgins are lengthy coding of concepts. So in pidgins, when pidgin speakers use vocabulary for expressing an intended meaning, they would express their meaning in many words. For example, where one word is needed or a two-word phrase is enough in English, a pidgin will use more than one or two words. Let's take a look at this example. The pidgin word belong is used in place of the preposition of. It is derived from the word belong in English. Papa belong me is equal to or means my father. So instead of saying my father, a pidgin speaker would use a longer phrase and say Papa belong me. Similarly, when a pidgin speaker wants to say your house, they will say house belong you instead of your house. So meaning is expressed in more words than is usual in case of English or any other language. Another rule which is used in pidgin vocabulary is reduplication. Reduplication has two purposes. One is to intensify the intended meaning. For example, talk is the same as talk in English. So when you want to say talk, in pidgin also you'd say talk. But when you want to emphasize the fact that somebody is talking a lot, you would say talk, which means chatter, which means talk a lot. Similarly, look is the same as look in English, but when you want to intensify this idea that somebody is looking at somebody or something, which means staring, they would say look. Because they do not have this word stare in their repertoire, they would intensify whatever word is available to them and use this strategy for expressing this meaning of staring. Reduplication is also used to avoid confusion. In pidgins, we have fewer words, as we've already said, and also fewer sounds. So, a word like ship is pronounced sip in pidgin Englishes, and a word like sheep also has the same sound. For example, E vowel sound is missing in pidgins, and they use the same sound which is used in ship to say sheep. And sh sound is also missing in Pidgin. Certain consonant sounds are also missing in pigeons, and one of those sounds is sh sound. So this results in the fact that the pronunciation for ship and sheep would be the same in Pidgin, and this will of course cause a lot of confusion to Pidgin users and also those who interact with Pidgin speakers. So to avoid this confusion, they use reduplication of the word which is a part of their repertoire, and sip would mean ship and sip would mean sheep. Similarly, was means watch, but was means wash. So there are certain strategies that Pidgin users use to overcome the fewer sounds and fewer words that they have in their vocabulary.